Today you'll see some easy neat sewing, a tank top, and it can have simple classic details or something else on the side seams that make it super pretty. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing, and today I have some neat sewing to share with you. Quite a simple make. Although some of the details might seem a little hard, they are actually quite easy to achieve, and I was really excited to use the little bit left over that I had of one of my prints that I'm absolutely digging right now. And yeah, it's a little bit out there, but I'm glad to have this piece. And what I'm talking about is a brand new pattern from Pattern Emporium called the Works Tank. Have a look at the line out there. It's a tank top. Of course, it does not have sleeves, but the straps here are quite wide. They're going to cover any type of bra. You're not going to have a problem there. Same as the depth of this armhole is not too low either. It's going to cover everything up really well. You have a rounded neckline that can be high, mid, or lower. And all of this is finished with wide binding. Now, this is a wide binding technique that is unique to Pattern Emporium. I love it so much that I have a whole video about it, just of this technique, so you can see it in detail. It's a nice shaped tank. It's fitted, but it's not skin tight, so that's nice. And you can sew a regular tank, you know, just regular side seams, lovely, classic. Then there are ruching details on the side. If you want the ruching details, the pattern piece is way longer. Actually, when you see it, you cut it out, you think, is this a dress? But it's not actually. It is a tank top, because when you do the ruching effect on the side seam, it shortens it, and then you end up with a tank that's a regular length. There's a cropped, a regular, and a longer length here. You can choose to hem it normally, just fold up and top stitch, or you can also add a hemband. So those are options for you there. I've decided to hem normally. Now the ruching can be done in two ways. One is to do a casing on the side seam and use a drawstring. I like that, so that's what I've done. And the other option could be easier, and it's just to sew elastic in the side seam, 1/4 inch elastic. Stretch it out as you sew, and that ruches up the side. I particularly like the casing method, so that is what I've chosen to do here for both of my versions. Because the Works Tank is brand new at Pattern Emporium, it's going to be 15% off through Monday around noonish, but in Australia. If you're around here where I live in Brazil, so if you're in this section of the world, the sale will end Sunday night, the 16th. There are other patterns also included in this release, and these are bottoms that can go with the tank. Out of the 9 patterns that are also included in this release sale, I've already made 7 of them. So have a browse. I will leave you all the information below. Maybe you can grab some bottoms that'll go with your lovely tank. If you end up clicking on my affiliate link that's in the comment section or in the description box, I do receive a small commission back from Kate, who is the owner of Pattern Emporium. It's one way that you can support the work that I do here on YouTube without it costing you anything extra. So if you use my link, I'm super grateful. You need neat fabric, of course. This will not work with a woven fabric at all. It's just not going to fit. You need the fabric to stretch both horizontally and vertically, at least 30% horizontally, at least 20% vertically for you to be comfortable. You can use a variety of fabrics here, ranging from light to medium to heavyweight. It just depends on the look that you want. In the lightweight category, you have the rayon spandex, bamboo spandex, modal spandex, ITY, double brush poly, single brush poly. Then we have light to medium, could be some rib knits, could be some athletic knits. Here we have also cotton lycra that could also work really well. Medium to heavy, it just depends. If you find a nice soft ponte or a really soft scuba Liverpool, it could work. I wouldn't go with anything too stiff. I wouldn't want to use anything too heavy here, so my first choice would not be ponte, scuba, or Liverpool. I'm not saying you can't use them, but I wouldn't use them. I think the ruching could end up looking too bulky and could feel a little bit uncomfortable, but that is all very personal. That's just my opinion. I think there is a little bit of a difference in the elastic version where you sew it onto the side seam. I think that would work very well with lighter weight fabrics like ITY, double brush poly, rayon spandex. And in other patterns, I have smaller ruche sections. I have actually sewn elastic in there and it works really well. But at least for my athletic knit, I think it wouldn't work that well. I think the elastic would not cause that ruching effect to be so dramatic on a heavier fabric. So think about that. If your fabric is not super lightweight, I think the ruching effect is going to look much nicer with the casing method and the side seam. Now about this wide binding, the binding needs to have spandex in there, at least 8 to 10% spandex. So if you're using, for example, rayon spandex or ITY, that type of fabric is not going to work well for this type of binding at all. So you might want to think about using contrast binding, a cotton lycra or an athletic knit to do the binding with. You need that recovery, stretch and recover back so it doesn't end up stretching out over time. So not every fabric is going to be amazing for the binding, but a lot of them are. The sizing goes from 40 to 30, Australian sizing up to 58.5-inch hip. You have a finished garment measurements, and I was able to determine the ease approximately because when you look at the size chart, it's a range of measurements. It's not an exact measurement. So around the bust is going to be around 0 to 1 inch of positive ease, which is okay. Remember, the stretch of the knit is going to help you there. You want this to be fitted here so you don't have gaping armholes and gaping necklines. At the waist, you're going to have a bit more space, around 3 to 5 inches of ease. And then towards the hip, similar to the bust, 0 to 1, around there. It's a fitted top, but it's not skin tight. You know, you don't have a lot of negative ease. I would not want a top to have negative ease at the hips ever. So I'm quite happy with how this one's designed and how it's intended to fit. I'm doing the regular length. I think that's the one that suits me the best. A personal fitting, you can see I plot my measurements here. I get a size 16 Australian, so I did not size up or down. I sewed according to my size, and the result is amazing. There's 0 fitting adjustments, no changes at all. It's basically print the pattern, cut the size, cut the fabric, sew it up, and be happy. So very painless, very relaxing in that sense. Now I'm going to show you some of the sewing here. I'm going to concentrate on the sewing steps to achieve the ruche side seam with the casing and the drawstring because I think that's the most interesting version that you can see. And the order of events is quite different to how you would sew a normal tank. So if I was sewing the regular tank, you sew the shoulder seams, you sew the side seams, you sew the binding, you know, there's certain steps that you follow. But when you have this casing and the drawstring on the side, it's a little bit different. So I'm going to focus on that. And remember to see the wide binding technique, check out this video. It's all there. Go ahead and look at that one. It's a shorter video, less than 10 minutes long. And you'll see how I was doing it the same way in this case as well. Here are the pattern pieces. The Works tank from Pattern Emporium. These are the pattern pieces for this version that I'm making. Back and front, both on the fold right there. I'm doing the lower scoop neckline. There's a mid and a higher rounded neckline. Wide binding technique, I have already a full video showing you how to do that in detail. It's slightly different to other types of finishes. This version, because it's going to be ruched on the sides, just looks longer. It sort of looks like a mini dress. But it's all going to be shortened. And when you're doing the version with the ruching, with the casing, you're going to have a dashed line on the pattern here that comes out a little bit. That's the version that you need to cut out. It's like extra seam allowance on the side so you can form the casing. You can make your own drawstring, but I'm going to use this that I found in my stash. I think it's going to be cute. And it's going to make my project a lot easier. For the option that has the ruching and the casing, what you want to do is serge all the edges first. It's just easier this way. Of course, if you want to go rogue and leave your edges raw, you can. They're not going to unravel. It is a knit after all. But it just looks nicer if it's neat. So I'm doing the side seams and the bottom for the hem as well. Careful not to trim anything away, just neatening up these edges. After serging everything, I have folded up 5/8 of an inch from the bottom up for a hem. And we're going to sew the hem first. I'm going to do this at the sewing machine with a simple narrow zigzag. After the hem is done, then we can start doing side seams and casings and all the rest. Back on the table, I've got back and front on top of each other, right sides together. The hem is done, as you can see. Now what we need to do is pick one side seam to do first. It's just going to be easier to do one side first and then do the other. The second side seam is going to be a little bit more fiddly to do, but nothing complex. We need the bottoms to align perfectly right here. And then we're going to sew a side seam using 5/8 of an inch. That's going to allow the casing that is going to be pressed open and top stitched. And then we're going to do the other side, and that's where the drawstring will be threaded through, and this will ruche up and shorten like that. Here I'm using the same narrow zigzag I used for the hem to sew the side seam, 5/8 seam allowance. Nice curve, it's not a straight seam. Now I'm at the iron, pressing this open, throwing a lot of steam on it. And then these side seam, the seam allowance will become the casing. See how this side is so much easier because you have all this access. With the other one, you'll still be able to do the steps. You're just gonna have to move the fabric around a little. So just to make it a little neater, I'm gonna go ahead and hand baste this down flat so it doesn't wiggle anywhere. And then we're gonna sew the two casings like that. Easy peasy. Then here I'm top stitching the seam allowance down on the inside that will form the casing. I've hand basted it first. The serged edge, I'm sewing right through the middle. That is my guide. That's one side. Now I'm going to sew the other side. It's all exactly the same. Here's one of the side seams done. You might see the stitches here and there forming the casings. Looks super neat from this side. It's very easy to do. Now we just repeat the same with the other one. When we press the other side, it won't be as easy as this one because we could extend the whole thing, but it will still be possible just like pressing any side seam. Here is the works tank. Side seams are done, casings are done. I'm leaving for the end the shoulder seams. There's no rush to do that because the binding comes at the end anyway, so this is still loose. What I'm going to do now is thread my drawstring through there, come up and down through there. So I don't guess, I've made a little mark right there with a colorful thread to mark the middle of this drawstring, so I should see that. I'm hoping that is enough to thread it through. Otherwise, I could just use a safety pin. I think the safety pin is going to be faster and easier. Okay, so I can see my colorful mark here. Maybe you can't see it, but I can. So I know that that is the half point. So what I'm going to do there is just pin it so it doesn't move anywhere. I'm going to take my safety pin and now go in through this side and then all the way back down to the hem. So that's ready. Now I'm going to go ahead here and do a little basting stitch just to hold that in place so it doesn't move anywhere. Okay, so that drawstring is sewn up there on the top. It's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be fixed in place. Now I can go ahead and finish the last steps. So the shoulder seams, do the binding for the armhole and the neckline. I have a whole video showing you how to do that in detail. I'm going to do it in the exact same way. If you're wondering what I'm wearing, this is the Besties tee, also from Emporium. It's more of a swing style top, a bit more ease, tons of options. I've got a V neckline, this is ITY. I've got a full circle sleeve, which is super, super cute. Check out the print here. It's just really cool. I had a lot of fun making this one. I always get questions, what were you wearing? So now you know. This is the one that you saw in the tutorial. I know it's leopard, it's a bit much, but hey, this is the last little bit I have of this fabric. I've already sewn a few garments like the Walk Boldly pants, also from Emporium, and the long weekend dress, bodycon dress, also sleeveless with a white binding. And now this is a little bit left over. So this is very pretty. Here you can see the ruching on the side. I found these in my stash. I don't know where they came from, but it saved me a lot of time from having to make a drawstring. But I would rather spend my time sewing nice, fun things than making drawstrings. It's got stripes. I think it's very nice. And it was really easy to thread through. It was the correct length as well. You see, it's quite easy to catch this up there. And then the rest, you regulate this with it on. So the hanger appeal isn't amazing. You get this droopy effect on the hanger. But when it's on, it looks much better, I promise. The white binding, in this case, I stitched in the ditch, so you can barely see any top stitching. So let's see this one on. I'm just warning you, the fourth outfit you'll see is a little bit bold. Here is my first The Works tank in a leopard print. I think a leopard print is sort of a neutral. It's got a lot of beige and brownish tones in there, so I brought out purple just to make a fun outfit that not a lot of people would like to wear, but I would. It's a wrap linen skirt, fitted at the waist, adjustable of course, but I think it's really balanced with the tank. The ruching on the sides is super cute. I have the longest ruche top available. There is a shorter one, and I just use these little cords I found. You can adjust this. That's what I like about this method, and it sort of curves in the center and the back a little bit. I've got the lowest scoop neckline, and I like the wide binding technique. I think the coverage on the armhole and neckline is just perfect. I'm very comfortable here. I'm not feeling exposed. My bra's not showing, my cleavage is not showing. So I'm really enjoying this. Closer look at the wide binding technique. The binding looks 3/4 inch wide. It's a really cool technique. I have a whole video on my channel showing you how to do that. And lots of patterns at Pattern Emporium have this, and it's amazing. So yeah, swap the purple with red. I think that would be another bold option for me. Otherwise, you can just keep it safe and do more neutrals on the bottom as well if you want to tone down the leopard, but I like this. Okay, this one's a little more safe. I've got some beigey pants that are refashioned. It's a straight leg pull-up pant with an elasticated waistband. I think the shorter top looks perfect. You know, nothing's really tight here. The top is not that tight at the waist either, and the colors just match, and this is perfect. No worries here. I don't think anyone would object to this color combination. And it's a really, really comfortable look that was easy to pull out. You know, I'm not usually dressed in beige and these types of tones at all, but I think the leopard livens it up. And this is not a basic tank at all. It's really, really cute. Okay, here's a fun sporty look with a pair of pull-up knit shorts and sneakers. I've still made a little bit of an effort, you know, but I could spend the whole day walking and having fun and being super comfortable. The shorts are a little wide. They tend to look more like a skirt, but they are shorts. And it's perfect. You know, they're fitted at the waist, more volume at the bottom. Looks very balanced with the tank. And yeah, I love it like this. Super cute. Let's tone down this leopard print that is super bold with this classic denim white skirt. It goes perfectly. You know, I see the leopard print as a neutral, and so is a white. Together, they just form a really soft look with a little bit of a bang from the leopard, but I think it looks amazing. White is always so, so great. I love this paired together. It's a straight skirt. It's not super tight. It's not loose. It's just perfect. And this type of skirt is going to go with a lot of styles of tops. So I wouldn't want to wear this top that's fitted and shorter with a really, really tight pencil skirt. I wouldn't feel great like that, but this is just amazing. I hope your eyes have recovered from seeing me in leopard, pretty much from my chin down to the floor. These are a matching pair of Walk Boldly pants that I made in 2023. And I had a little bit left over to make this tank. I always knew I could pull off this fake jumpsuit look. I need to feel very special that day when I wear it, because you need an extra boost of confidence to walk out fully in leopard. But I think it looks really cute. The pants are wide leg. They're fitted at the waist and hips, so the top goes perfectly. It's always a type of bottom that I would pair with a top like this. Wide leg pants, always tick, always perfect. These are comfy pull-up pants. The whole outfit is just super, super comfortable. This is my second version. The blue is amazing. I absolutely love this print. It's got navy, royal blue, and white. The white binding went in easy. Love this technique. For these, I've just stitched in the ditch instead of top stitching, so there's no visible stitch there, and I think it looks so clean and so neat. I was about to sew the mid scoop, but I forgot when I was cutting out. I'd cut out the scoop and I'm like, I was going to tape that little paper back. But anyway, the mid scoop would be like an inch higher anyway. It's nothing up high. And I would definitely never do the high neckline. I think that doesn't suit me. So mid and low, if you've got a C cup or more, I think would suit you better. That's just what I think. Lovely armhole, good coverage. Now in this case, I used a drawstring that I made out of satin bias tape that I buy in a roll. So I just folded it and top stitched it, made my own little drawstrings that way. You can definitely make a woven drawstring for this. It doesn't have to be a knit. Let me show you how this looks like on the inside. The other side of this fabric is quite different. That is how that binding looks like on the inside. That's how the casing looks like on the inside. Biggish seam allowance 5/8 allows you to fit in that drawstring. 5/8 hem allowance as well. It's so simple, really, really enjoyable. I've also styled this a bunch of ways. Let's see. This is my second version of the Works tank from Pattern Emporium. It's the same size 16, same versions, just a different knit. This is actually a swim fabric, but you can't tell up close. It's pretty matte. I love the print. I've got it paired with my bohemian wrap skirt in linen. I think it looks really cute. The wrap skirt is longer, has a bit more volume, and the top is nice and short and fitted, so I think they look really cute together. And this is one way I would dress up the top. The ruching made with casings here on the side seam. I like how it dips a little bit in the center back and the center front. I think that looks really cute. This time I made my drawstrings out of satin bias tape. I've just sewn them and threaded them through. I think they look really cute. The wide binding technique is always a treat to sew. I really like it. I'm used to it by now. I think it's really easy. And you can see that the coverage is really good. Armhole, neckline, I'm not showing anything. I'm very comfortable. I thought about doing the mid cut line here for the neckline in this case, but I totally forgot and just cut out this one. Still, even though this is the lowest, I don't think it's really low. I'm not showing any cleavage, so it's perfectly fine for me. This is a top I would not want to wear with a really fitted pencil skirt or skinny jeans or anything fully fitted at the bottom, just because of the length and the style of it. So I love it with this skirt. It's beautiful. Here's my gorgeous blue The Works tank with another type of blue bottom. You'll see a lot of that today, but it's a totally different style. It's shorter, it's fitted at the waist and hips with a little bit more volume on the skirt beneath the full hip-ish. It's a fuller skirt. It just goes perfectly with a shorter fitted top. Perfect. I absolutely love how this looks together, and this is a nice fresh vibe. Check out these royal blue 100% linen pants. I think they're amazing. I made these in 2018. They're a little bit cropped, but they're not fitted pants. They're sort of a straight style leg, which I think goes perfectly with a shorter fitted top like this one. The colors are just gorgeous. I love these bright tones. Such a summery look. I absolutely love it. And it's super comfortable. Linen is always really comfortable to wear in bottoms, skirts or pants, shorts. It's always amazing. And then this little top, very versatile, swim fabric, no one's gonna know. Here is my white denim skirt again. This is a classic for me. It goes with literally everything. So if you don't have a skirt like this for hot weather, you're missing out. It just lightens up any outfit that you want. You've seen me pair the Works tank with blue, navy, sort of darkish bottoms, but this lighter tone just brightens everything up, and I love it so much. I've got the white sandals and the white bag. Just keep everything light and let the tank shine. This skirt is not fitted, it's not loose either, it's just straight. It's got the perfect amount of ease to go well with any type of top that you want. And you better believe I'm gonna take the Works tank to the gym. I like working out in the summer with skirts. I think it's so comfortable and so perfect. I've got shorties underneath the skirt, and I'm not concerned about my bottom showing or whatever. It's just so comfortable, and I find it more modest than wearing a really tight pair of shorts to the gym, which is okay functionally, but I love the little skirt on top. I think it looks styling with this. This is a swim fabric, you know, I'm gonna sweat, it's gonna dry fast, it's just perfect. And yeah, the tank is gonna take me all the way from the gym to church, literally. Love it. So I would not wear these to the gym with really tight shorties or really fitted leggings. I just think it would just be fitted all over from top to bottom, and I don't like that. I really enjoyed sewing my two versions of this tank top. I think it's really nice. You know, it can take you all the way from a really nice, well-fitting tank that's a classics, you know, no special ruching. If that's not your thing, you get an amazing tank. But I really do like the ruching, and I love the choice that I made with the casing. I think it was really fun to do, and it lets you regulate the length of the side seams much more than the elastic can, but there's a choice for everyone. I know a lot of you might prefer the elastic on the side seams. You have a blast sewing these up, very relaxing, always a good experience. Remember, they're 15% off through Sunday night if you live in this section of the world. That is all from me. Make sure you subscribe, turn on your notifications, and I will see you back here tomorrow with something super special. See you then. Bye.